Experts identify human activities as factors inhibiting efforts of government towards achieving healthy environment. Hello, welcome to NTOU News. My name is Utube Achibong. This broadcast is reaching you live on Star Times Channel 103 and on our social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Now to the rest of our stories. Akwa Ibom State Governor Umoino has promised to make a mark in his first 100 days in office. The flag off of the construction of a 750 meters linear street, expected to be completed and delivered within the period, is one of such moves. Kelvin Samuel has details.
Governor, while performing the flag off, says it is in fulfillment of his promise when he visited Akpanande Market during campaigns. He also approved the installation of portable water scheme, a state-of-the-art convenience, solar-powered lights in the market, in addition to the construction of internal roads in the area. The governor, who assures of his administration's commitment to ensure dividends of democracy spread across the state, also announced more streets that will receive attention soon.
We'll do the drainages, we'll do the internal roads. Then, between now and 29th of March, we'll flag off Tabernacle Road, Goreti School Road, Kikorekbene. I understand that one too is bad. We are going to fix that road. We are going to do it because it's been bad. We are trying to ensure that we touch and touch and touch. These roads are economically viable roads.
The project is to be executed by Hensec Integrated Services. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
In another development, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umoino, has approved the dissolution of all non-statutory boards, agencies and commissions in the state with immediate effect. This is contained in a release signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Prince Enobonwa. Consequently, the affected officials have been directed to hand over to the most senior civil servant in their respective boards, agencies and commissions. The release conveys the deep appreciation of Governor Umoino to the affected boards, agencies and commissions chairmen and members for their contributions to the development of Akwa Ibom State and wishes them well in their future endeavors. And from Cross River State comes a report that government is working in synergy with the organized labor towards providing palliatives for residents to cushion the negative impact of the removal of fuel subsidy on the people. These and more than 22-point positions formed part of agreement between both parties when the labor leaders visited the state governor, Senator Basi Otu, in his office. Paul Abel reports.
It's the first time the organized labor will be meeting with Governor Basi Otu after his inauguration, as they did not hide their commendations over recent appointments and takeoff of the governor in the state. Yet, led by the NLC chairman, the organized labor marshaled out its position to include liaising with labor to appoint special advisor on labor, conducting personnel audits, improving on internally generated revenue, providing permanent office accommodation for MDAs, among other critical demands.
There should be a personnel audit of the entire civil service in Cross River State, and including all our tertiary institutions, state tertiary institutions. Labor leaders should always be carried along in most of the critical decision making in the state.
Governor Basi Otu stated that the state government will cooperate with labor and other stakeholders while aligning with the positions of labor as it seeks to change the narrative, but appeals for patience to get things in better shape.
And each state has its own peculiarities. That is why we still have to synergize, so that whatever palliative will be put in place will be such that we will mitigate and ameliorate the sufferings of our people. We are trying to do a personal audit right now, which we might need your help where it's necessary. What we're asking is everybody will go to DSS and do proper documentation, so that if your papers have some issues, from there you go to court.
Struggle for our members, there is victory for all.
At At the end of discussions, it was smiles and laughter as both parties agreed to collaborate and schedule for a more elaborate sessions towards moving the state forward. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
And on legislative matters now, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly has inaugurated House committees to ensure the smooth running of the House. The Speaker, Udemo Otong, made this known by reading names of members and chairmen of each committee during Thursday's plenary. Nsika Okun has details.
As members of the 8th Assembly resume work, the Speaker Udemo Otong announces the constitution of the 26 standing committees of the 8th Assembly, and the Advisory Committee on Parliamentary Matters is chaired by the Speaker Udemo Otong. Other committees are that of Women Affairs, headed by Selina Okpatu, Jerry Otu, Chairman Committee on Information. Chairman Committee on Health is Moses Essien. Chairman on Boundary and Conflict Resolution is chaired by Precious Selon. Committee on Science and Technology is headed by Udrak Ekpofort, while Kenem Onofiok chairs the Committee on Education. Committee on Security, Youth and Sport is headed by Uwemedi Mosukwo. Committee on Rural Development, Power, Water and Public Utility is to be chaired by Asukwo Nana. Effiong Johnson is the chairman of the Committee on Industry, Commerce and Tourism. Committee on Intergovernmental and Special Projects is headed by Odom. Committee on NEDC is chaired by Kofre Edidem. Committee on Appropriation and Finance, Itoro Etam. Eric Akpan is the chairman, Committee on Public Accounts. Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters is headed by Mfon Idung. Committee on Works and Transport, Otobong Bob. Committee on Agriculture, Obong Ota. Committee on House Services, Lawrence Udoide. Committee on Environment, Basi Pius. Committee on Labor and Productivity, Sunday Ufot. And Committee on Rules, Business and Ethics, Prince Akpabio. Committee on Judiciary, Justice and Public Petition, Anefiok Atta. Committee on Special Projects Monitoring and Implementation, Uwemi Moita. Lands and Housing, Samson Idiom. Committee on Economic Planning and Development, Nsidebe Akata. Committee on Petroleum Matters, Udobia Friday. The Speaker Udemo Otong charged them to get ready to exercise their committee's responsibilities to justify their mandates. The House was adjourned to reconvene on 11 July 2023 in Uyo. Nsika Okun, NTA News.
If you are just joining us, this is NTA Uyo News. More stories will come your way after the statement. Do stay.
International Hotels, located at number 5 Efangosanga Street, Afarafort, off a back road, Uyu. When it comes to hospitality industry, nothing compares with comfort, exquisite services, and top-of-the-world security. These are what make Prisma Hotels a household name. At Prisma Hotels, you are assured of lavishly furnished, spacious rooms and suites with complimentary breakfast, top-class Blue Sea swimming pool, VIP and poolside bars, as well as restaurant where African and continental dishes are conserved and pocket-friendly rates. These are not all. There is high-speed internet service, closed-circuit television, spacious car park, 24-hour power and water supply, sparkle laundry and dry cleaning services, and above all, combat-ready security operatives. So whenever you are in Uyo or you are a resident in Uyo, capital city of Akwa Ibom State, make Prisma Hotels number 5 Efang Street, Tafara Fort, off a back road Uyo your choice, and you will cherish the experience. For bookings and inquiries, please call 081-3166-6660 or 0915-509-9989. Prisma International Hotels, hospitality par excellence.
You're welcome back, and now to the rest of our stories. Indiscriminate dumping of refuse, poor maintenance of government infrastructure may be some factors inhibiting the efforts of government to healthy environmental conditions. A case in point is the destruction of some buildings and fencing Government Technical College are back from where our correspondent reports.
For over a decade, residents of Ukwabak and neighboring communities have, by their activities, hindered developmental strides within the communities. With erosion encroachment destroying buildings in Government Technical College and fears that there are likelihoods that more infrastructure in its pathway may be destroyed, residents are sending an SOS message. Some concerned Nigerians say in what was supposed to stop erosion encroachment in the school about 15 years was sealed with refuse and soil and used as farmland, as well as construction sites by members of communities around the school.
These are professionals. We decided to divide them into 3 groups: erosion committee, fence committee, building committee. So erosion committee, I gave them a task. They must discover where we can channel water out of the school. In the process of looking for a way, they came to this place and discovered that during the construction of Ikorabasi Road, that Julius Berger built a canal that can take water from the community, Okoba community, to this place. But unfortunately, when they discovered, there is no way they know that there's a canal. The community has filled up the entire canal with waste.
I've already thrown something inside the gutter. So that means I get the gutter, whenever they throw something, even in the market, people will bring something inside the market. When they come here with bike, they throw inside the gutter. When they throw inside the gutter will block.
Some teachers in the school expressed deep concern, especially during the rainy season, and appealed to government at all levels for immediate intervention.
The community didn't do really well, because when we get into this act, you'll see different entries into the school compound. So you have volume of water coming in, and it erodes everything that should be done. So we trust God that as the federal government and state government can come in to help us check the phase of what is happening, we'll be a happier school.
It is a deliberate thing. The communities and others, for the real father, to discourage their subject from channeling water into this community. You need to see when it rains.
We've seen why Technical Government College, our bag is flooded with water whenever it rains. One of the reasons is the indiscriminate dumping of refuse right within the school by the communities. We are calling on all the relevant authorities to come to Government Technical College, are back here in Akwa Ibom State, to rescue us, to rescue the students and the staff.
We are begging the government, we are begging everybody to come into our rescue, to be able to see that they could stop this from happening, because it's not ideal packing refuse inside a school.
Government projects for any people these Nigerians maintain should be properly managed for the purpose they are meant for. From our back local government area, Utube Achibong.
Professor Akpan Hoganegbu, Center for Public Policy, University of Uyo, is organizing its 5th annual lecture entitled Protest Matters: The Effect of Protest on Economic Redistribution. The lecture, which will be delivered by Professor Belinda Achibong of Bernard College, Columbia University, USA, is billed for Monday, June 26, 2023 at the main campus of the university along Wanibe Road by 10 in the morning. A statement signed by the registrar Blossom Okorie indicates that Professor Emmanuel Atang Onyodu of the Department of Economics, University of Uyo, will be the second speaker at the event, while the Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Nyaudon Dayo, will be the chief host. By this release, members of the academia, policymakers, top government officials, captains of industries, and the general public are invited. Moving on now, in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, reactions have continued to trail the Tertiary Education Act, otherwise known as Student Loan Act, as recently assented to by President Bola Tinubu. Umar Basedet reports that stakeholders, while lauding the long-term benefits of the loan, also expressed their concerns, especially on the repayment condition.
The student education law, according to the federal government, is aimed at providing interest-free loans to Nigerians seeking higher education. While several terms and conditions apply, one of such, which is also of concern, is the loan repayment. According to the provisions of the law, the students are expected to pay back in installment 2 years after graduation. This therefore places a huge responsibility on school administrators as regards the completion of studies as at when due.
Some constraints could be in forms of facilities, which we have been talking to the federal government to fund, because part of the funding we are talking about is to provide the facilities so that students can graduate in time.
We all know the areas of challenges in the tertiary institutions that prevent students or graduates from being mobilized to go for NYSC on time. And all those things are not far-fetched from relating to government controls and policies. So I think with this loan, the calculation will go down line and certain policies will be softened. That's
Beyond this, how financially equipped would the students be to enable them raise money for repayment shortly after graduation, especially in the face of dwindling job opportunities across the country?
Education without skill, you've not started.
We expose the students to different skills. We even send them out to some of the businesses around to go and then learn how to acquire skills.
Some undergraduates share their thoughts on Nigeria's new student loan scheme.
That one will motivate a lot of students to be in school. It will reduce the number of hooligans around, and it will make the progress of the country.
Providing loan helps aid for students to continue their education, but on the other hand, I think there are some negative side to it too, because first and foremost, there are no jobs. If the students eventually now are done with schooling and they said the duration of payment of the loan is 2 years, so if there are no jobs, on the other side, we all know the situation in the country, there are no jobs on ground, so the means of students paying up the loans now, there are no means.
While many are optimistic on the long-term benefits of the student loan, some also have their reservations. From Uyo, Umar Basedet, NTA News.
Up next is sports updates with Ayodeji Makinde.
Bendel Insurance defeated Enugu Rangers by a lone goal to emerge winners of the Federation Cup at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba, Delta State. In their third meeting in the final of the oldest club competition in the country, Imade Osarenko converted from the penalty spot in the 4th minute of first half added time after Chinemerem Ugweze was sent off for a second bookable offense. Bendel Insurance will now play in the CAF Confederation Cup next season alongside Rivers United, while Nigeria League champions Eyimba are in the CAF Champions League with Remo Stars.
Celebration will go on and on and on and on, and they have deserved it.
In the women's category, Bayelsa Queens retained their title after defeating Rivers Angels 4-2 via penalties following a goalless scoreline in regulation time. Team Nigeria to the tech ball event of Africa Beach Games in Hammamet, Tunisia, continue to intensify preparations ahead of their opening contest June 23, where Nigeria #1 Victor Oyemade will hope to qualify for a slot for the men's singles at World Beach Games slated for Bali, Indonesia, August 5 to 12. 3 tech bowlers and 1 official arrived in the North African country earlier on Wednesday with determination to make podium finishes in men's singles, men's doubles and mixed doubles events as Team Nigeria targets improving on a second-place finish at the 2019 edition of the Games, which held in Seoul, Cape Verde. In tennis, 5-time champion Venus Williams and former world #3 Elina Svitolina have wildcard entries into Wimbledon, which serves off July 3 to 16. For the 3-year-old Venus, ranked 697th in the world, returns to action this month at the Birmingham Classic after a 5-month injury layoff. With sports updates, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
That concludes the English segment of our news tonight. Remember, to be a star, you have to join NTA's campaign to stand against rape and rapists. Up next is our news translation. Thanks for sharing your time with us. From me, it's good night.
Governor Moino aberutum bobusong akendi ya anwabo ke akpa useniki ekiet ke office mo ye na ngam mengwonda mkpo senyin awori kat ufa utemu bombeda ke statement asiyong meboro sinante kama mutum kuforo eta ebo kembono wo sesno boke arinam no mensini fuku karana ngake arina mbono wo ekobinem kenkan kok awongo ikbu ugangin mi komo ayin mero agnes ukuren bok skik bere yakop siba kem bongfan etangami sem bongfan kem mensonsio ngwo winda ngbo dangiko awana ke Star Times, Facebook or YouTube. Akam kara statement etu mono anwobo keti sum useni kiet kenda ukari momi ki yaina ngamen wonda mpo senyene wo aket ke statement kiet ketu mempo anyetanga miero adikan bo ki yai bok usong ekotondia street arinyong kemita iki itiaba yeba yerup enyong kwenge ki dakitangami yai ko mbonge yo ito okombonyo
Kasirete umono idakanye abereke baatore tongu tome bigiryong songdi yami amatanga bokedo ketu mempo imoiki tanga idaki moisoki yembono efi ubokeno imonte kamo kasire mike imoyaidise udwa akmanandem ayenko sokotanga boke ya esan monge sango kwake usongoro imane bob me usong fen ke me fararo kenye sokona maru do nyema sokotanga boke si ambono kwa ebo mima ke fi ubok eno imo ya imo dogi dante kamo kastere mi ke mensunsu mbono wo yemme fak ya soke kaiso edia ufon eto ukarimo ebogero itutum ayin stedemi aniege arom yosibi kama utomuri onsongomi miku yo utebe achibon akombok enti
Etame boke na hambono wese ruwa ngambio na mama okama mempo ukarabono kekemme itie kereke arina muwemene mbono wo kisong irong akeme dirian ke arisen arina msungi fru kara ke rina msungi fru kara ananga ke adikat boke nanga ngkok ngwanda o won boke rero ado ada o fongwet au ko fongwet ke government technical college ka bak kora mu fo ke boboro aro ngoke ntro utra chibo kombong nyen akama mbomi jari ko bitoye
eboke muwari swakere mkoke mbono woke idong ekoto okwa bak ye mensunsu itimfen ekama mubong moke ne mensunsu runam simonam ebiat mentutum ukara enama mbagaturu anwa medongoro ke mempo moina mami anam mongedem asi akpongo songonye kpesanga ke akedongo ufongwede ekoto government technical college ke nkoko kara abak abiat mempodo aminam boni dongoro nkeso kesunu yo eboki mi yemungam yosong bono wida ke nien neme yemme kombok ema tange bu kukara ema ekbe mbono wo utum moeri tappe usong mongedem ba toro mongedem se afege frokini edeme depe aro mboni dongoro yemme mbogo idong fin ese ekonombio ekedong ke gotami edong tantutu itiendo disre arido se moy kama etompo ebo foke manenanga mensunsio mkpo kitiro amena muba mendikbe be bangake ku fongwe technical ami ebokero mkpo ariokota titi moesinu yekuru kaibu mbok ya soke dianu bok esinu wam mbage siumong ke ufongwe rero amo soke dianu eboke mkpo kere kere ogodo ukara enamma kero mbaga toro anwam mbonogo enamma mkpo reno kidogo se bono wegbese kamobong mo emane biat utomukara mike nko ukara bak utebe achibong akombok enti
ni to kango kwense ka iraro ke mbong fan akene na ndi nyine frokot mbok asire to selfie
Sports 24, where sports thrive.
cereals consumed, wheat has the highest concentration of protein. Triticum aestivum, popularly known as wheat, is a staple grain which originated from South America. In Africa, Ethiopia and South Africa are major producers of wheat. Wheat requires low temperature to grow, and unlike other grains such as rice, millet, guinea corn, and maize that are produced throughout the year, wheat is only grown during the cold season, and that is why it is regarded as the winter crop.
When you look at wheat crop, considering its origin from the temperate, so actually the requirements are cold. The environment has to be cold, which means the temperatures must be lower. It's lower in the sense that it has to be less than 18 degrees minimum mean daily temperatures. And in that case, we can only grow wheat crop in this environment during the cool season, specifically Harmattan. The temperatures are quite lower and you can get some yield, actually. Not generally quite high yield, but on the average we can have some yield.
Wheat is a cereal product. It belongs to the classes of carbohydrates, although it contains some other nutrients apart from the carbohydrate content of the whole wheat. Wheat is a cereal is from a cereal family, just like rice, maize, and corn, but it has more nutritional value than rice, maize, and corn. Wheat has a whole grain wheat, because wheat is of different classes, variety. We have a whole grain wheat, the one that has not been polished. That is what we call whole grain wheat. And that one contains a rich source of fiber, which may have a positive effect on digestive system. And then we have whole grain wheat also have a decent source of vitamins, minerals, and then it contains selenium, it contains manganese, it contains copper, it contains phosphorus, it contains folate. This folate is what we call folic acid or vitamin B9, and this vitamin B9 or folic acid is very, very essential during pregnancy.
Wheat is an important crop here because one, it helps in first of all assisting a farmer to have double or triple cropping in his farm, and secondly, it's one of the crop that is consumed in this country almost second to rice or gari. Our occasions, our food, and many activities in the confectionaries and similar companies or food processing or restaurants are using wheat in almost their daily activities. Therefore, wheat has become a very, very important crop locally and occasionally, and also on daily basis to some.
Wheat requires a combination of sandy loam soils for efficient reproduction, and the savanna of northwestern Nigeria, particularly Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara states, is suitable for such agricultural activity. The surface and underground water availability in this domain facilitates the production of wheat, and farmers utilize machines to pump water from the grounds to their farmlands.
If you look at Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, our floodplain is known in the world. In the geography, we know we have been identified as one of the floodplain that has shallow water table. And with the dams such as Bakalori and Ugorenyo at the upstream of these two states, and then other dams that include Meirua Dam in Katsina, Jibe Dam, Zobe Dam, and some other small dams and other tributaries to River Niger, such as River Zamfara, that passes across Zamfara and part of Sokoto and end up in Kebbi. All these have large amount of water that passes through both surface and underground to the River Niger for downstream flow to Atlantic Ocean. Therefore, the potentials are in fact enormous. Out of the 923,000 hectares available in Nigeria, this part of the country almost account for between 30 to 40% of the total land. And most of our land here, as far as wheat production is concerned, is suitable.
Notwithstanding, research reveals that grains yield of wheat produced over the year is grossly inadequate to meet home consumption, let alone exportation. Recent statistics rated Nigeria among the lowest wheat-producing countries, but among the highest in its consumption, spending about 360 billion naira to import the product annually. Huge sum